All right, the video you're about to see is all over the place. Started out with intentions of trying to be a second gen control arm, front control arm kind of how-to video. And then it led into a couple little issues coming up with the mega cab right before the Bowling Green, Kentucky race, which that ended up compounding into a worse problem that kept me from racing. Filmed some stuff, didn't film some other stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and roll the clips that I made. This is the week leading up to Bowling Green. And then I'll come back at the end and do a little explaining, and that'll be that. Those look like complete shit. Pretty straightforward job, but those have 340,000 miles on them. Welcome back to Everyday Diesel YouTube channel. Today we got some race truck parts. It's been a minute since we've done a little wrenching on this, and Beach Bend is 1 week away. Actually, today's July 4th. It is currently raining pretty good outside. You know, it's a Thursday, middle of the week. I'm not really doing much until the weekend, so I figured today, since I'm off work, it'd be a good day to try to get these control arms done. So let me show you what we got from our friends at Firepunk Diesel. All right, excuse my mess. There's been a lot going on here. Intercooler pipes for the compounds that need some welding done. I've been doing some tuning on the mega cab. Here's the control arms we'll talk about. I've been doing some lighting upgrades in the shop. Going from those to these, what are they, 16,000 lumen high bays. Anyways, here's what we got from our friends at Firepunk. Second gen, fully adjustable control arms. I don't really think this needs to be a how-to. Actually, I'll put a link in the description, Firepunk. Well, I'll put a link in the description to the control arms. And then I'll also put a link to Firepunk's video. They did a quick little 5-minute how-to on this. It's pretty straightforward. Second gens have one of these, I don't know if you want to call it like a caster bolt or misalignment bolt. But basically, in order to avoid having to do an alignment on that, I'm going to mark the old ones and just put these in the exact same location. One thing to note here, if you're going to do control arms on your second gen, whether you go with Firepunk's control arms or not, get yourself some new hardware. You definitely don't want to reuse your old stuff. I doubt there's a second gen out there that you're going to be working on. I mean, obviously there might be a few, but that'll have good hardware. But I got a feeling we might be doing some cutting or torching. I hope not, but we'll see. Fully adjustable control arms, new hardware. One thing I want to note on a later second gen, because I believe early second gens are different. Your uppers are a 14 millimeter bolt. Your lowers are a 16 millimeter bolt. I'm pretty sure on early second gens, like 94s to 99s or maybe even 2000s, your uppers were 12s and your lowers are 14s. And actually, I just worked with Lynn at Firepunk Diesel on this because they had sent me 12s and 14s on these Heims. When I got my new hardware, I realized none of it was fitting, so I had to call them, and in one day Lynn and I were able to talk and send some pictures back and forth. Realized that late second gens are different than earlier second gens with the bolt size. These 16 millimeters are actually what's used on a third gen as well, so he sent me some Heims and I'm gonna send back the incorrect ones, and they came in one day. Oh, one more thing that I want to note. Firepunk does a good job of sending these assembled like this with anti-seize already on the threads, which is good. If you don't have anti-seize on the threads, you definitely want to, just for longevity. What we're going to do, and I'll show it, we're going to take off the old arms. We're going to set them on the bench here, put bolts through the bolt holes, match these to the exact length as the stock arms, lock them down. And that should really be all you need to do. The adjustability here, obviously, you know, if you're in a lifted situation, that may be useful, or I know when you get to certain lifts, you get longer control arms. But however, we are lowered 2.5 inches, roughly 2 inches really, in the front. So we're just gonna be stock length. So anyways, I'm gonna get the truck on jack stands. Lucky for me, I have limit straps. I don't think it really matters. Just let the axle hang freely. So I'm gonna put jack stands on the frame. I believe we can just take control arm off one by one, replace it with the new one, and call it a day. I am pleasantly surprised, but I'm knocking on wood because there's still a couple more to go, but got the first arm off and it was easy. Now look at these, look how clean these bolts are. I have to assume that these are factory bolts from 2001. I don't see any signs of these bars ever being replaced. There's no anti-seize on these from a prior mechanic. They were just sealed in those bushings perfectly. They never seized. Got some paint drying, but let's go set up this first bar. Okay, so I got the tripod set up here. This is the passenger upper bar. I'm gonna take two of the new bolts here. I've never done this before. I'm going by what I saw in the Firepunk video, the video they posted. I'm going to take that there. Need to make these bars exactly the same length. I can already tell that I need to make this a little longer, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. One side is righty-tighty, one side is lefty-tighty. So you spin the bar and the heims will go in and out. It's pretty simple design. That's how a lot of traction bars, if you have track bars on your truck, that's how a lot of them are set up. I'm close. Keep playing with it until it falls down. Right there, I think, is pretty good. Now, there's actually more play in there than I would like, but that's just the heim. So I think I'm just gonna find the middle ground. So that tightens up there. Almost a full turn. I'm gonna come back to about right there. That feels pretty good. So from there, I'm gonna tighten these up. Got this set where I want it. Acquired a wrench. It's 1.5 inches for these lock nuts. I'm gonna tighten them down enough to where they won't move. And once it's in the truck and installed, a bit of crank on them good. You want to periodically check these and make sure that they have not backed off, because if they back off even a little bit, the play that it'll give on these threads will end up destroying the threads both here and in here, and you'll be buying a whole new bar, because this will be trash and this will be trash. So, and I'm just gonna go ahead and go get it in the truck. You also want to make sure you orient your grease fittings correctly so you can get to them once they're mounted in the truck. All right, so some time has passed since I last showed you how I was sizing the upper bars, the upper control arms on this. And I've got both sides uppers in. The lowers are being a little bit more difficult, and I'll show you why in a minute. But I wanted to make note of a couple things here, and also talk about a few other things I did to this, as well as a problem that arose with this, and it's been kind of chaos. By the way, it is Tuesday, about midnight right now. Of course, we're supposed to be leaving Friday morning at pretty much sunrise to get to Bowling Green on time. So let me show you this real quick. Okay, so here's where I'm at right now. Upper bars completely in, tightened down, ready to go. One thing I want to note, if you're doing this job, it's good to size it how I showed you on the table, but also you want to take a tape measure and measure the factory bar from center hole to center hole, and then come over here with your bolts installed and measure from center to center again and make sure that matches, because I had the bar set well enough to get it in place, but I had to turn it a little bit to get the holes to line up. So you want to make it match factory as close as possible or dead on. So loosen up your jam nuts, twist this bar until you get your same measurement between both bolts. Tighten up your jam nuts very tight. So these lowers are deeming to be a little bit more difficult. One thing you want to do is mark your front bolt is a camber bolt. So it is slotted. I don't know if you can see that there, but it's slotted. And basically you turn the bolt on the bolt head side to adjust in and out with this washer. You don't want to have to do an alignment if you don't have to. I'm definitely not, since it's a race truck, but got it marked. However, this nut is not budging with my impact or with my big breaker bar. Don't mind the big pile of crap off of this truck from working on this thing. So yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna hit this thing. Tomorrow's Wednesday. I'm gonna hit this thing with heat, try to see if that works. Should be able to get it done. All else fails, we're gonna take a Sawzall in there and cut it up, but that's a pain in the ass, and I'm gonna try not to do that. Another thing I want to note, I didn't really want to do a full video on this because they are extremely simple, but I will do a shout out to LRB Speed. LRB Speed. You can Google that. They make, I don't know if anyone watching this, have you seen some videos online lately of some guys with all aluminum second-gen dashes? Same guys make these aluminum door panels. I might be getting that dash, I'm not sure. But I went ahead and picked up the panels since I didn't have my factory panels anymore, and it's super ugly with no panels. I thought this would be a cool, relatively inexpensive way to just freshen up the interior a little bit since I gutted it. These panels are pretty awesome. They come with brackets to mount your power switches. You remove one bolt that's holding some of your power window bracketry and replace it with a longer bolt for your pull strap. Super sturdy. You put nut certs all the way around and all the factory push, like the plastic push pin holes. You do have to get a tool that installs rib nuts, but that's pretty cheap. I got mine off Amazon. But 10 of those all the way around. It has this pre-bent like top here that goes inside the door here. Super sturdy. The only noise there is the actual window moving back and forth. But super sturdy, does not rattle, and looks pretty awesome. So got that done. And this thing, the only thing that's keeping me worried and keeping me up at night about this trip in a couple days is this stupid thing, being able to rely on it. You saw on my social media, I've recently put a GT Turbos 63, 64 drop-in VGT in this thing. Similar to your Cheetahs and whatnot out there, but it's Greg's take on it. He builds awesome turbos. I got him over there, as you know. Put that in there and have had some tuning problems with this truck and surging issues since it is a slightly different turbo than stock. It is modified. It is a little larger, different compressor wheel, that kind of thing. So I've been dealing with getting retunes, and if you know, you know. In my opinion, it's an extreme pain in the ass. I hate messing with tuning on these things, especially when all you want it to do is just drive down the road and pull your trailer and nothing more. So I'm messing with tuning on this thing right now. Threw in a new air filter, and then I found that my WC Fab upper coolant line was leaking on this end of it. I don't know if you can tell, but yeah, you can't tell at all. But basically, inside of this boot has failed in some way. I haven't taken it off yet, obviously, to figure out where or how it exactly failed. Basically, injecting coolant into this boot, and it's seeping out of the boot. If you could see this, all of the like little frays of the edge of this boot where it was cut is red, dyed red from the red coolant that's in this thing. And I can actually squeeze and poke and pry on this thing. Let me see here. I don't know if you can hear it, but you can kind of see it bubbling out there. That's just, I mean, the truck's lukewarm from driving it at about 3 hours ago, but it is, you can see remnants of it blasting coolant out. Not a lot, not even enough to drip on the ground, but it is a fail. It has failed, and yeah, not cool. Good thing about that is I called WC Fab first thing this morning when I was driving to work, and got a hold of their tech support right away. Started explaining the problem, and this sounds like it's a common problem for them, or has been. The guy immediately knew what I was talking about as I was explaining myself, and no questions asked. Next day air, new boot and clamp kit. So I'm going to have that tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. So tomorrow night I'll be draining about a gallon of coolant out of this thing, fixing that upper pipe, filling her back up. Hopefully have a tune revision tomorrow as well, because I'd like to get it relearned before I hook a trailer up to it and tow it to Kentucky. Hoping to get the lower arms on this thing done tomorrow as well. Worst case scenario, Thursday night, and load up Thursday night, and hopefully be ready to go. So I'll keep videotaping a little bit of stuff here and there. Gonna get these lower bars done, swap some slicks over, and head to the track. All right, hopefully that wasn't too bad of a watch to go through that. So yeah, got half of the job done on the race truck for the control arms. Got the cool door panels put on the race truck. Fixed a coolant leak on the upper radiator hose on this thing. That led to finding out that the drain plug on the radiator had failed. No longer would hold the drain plug in place. I figure I'll go ahead and show you what I'm talking about real quick. So here is the drain plug on this 2014 6.7, and this is the same style of drain plug that a lot of other manufacturers, cars, trucks alike, have started to adopt. It's a shit design. So let me pop it out of here. Obviously this is the bad one, so I don't care about it, but oh, a little bit come out. So these are, they have an O-ring on them. They're basically quarter turn. You can see those ramps. They're pretty steep ramps. So basically this turns and pushes in, turns and pulls out, and inside of here is a tab and a tab, which is what those grooves go into. And over time, what I've found out, since I have drained my coolant multiple times for upgrades and repairs and such, if you're not careful, which I obviously wasn't, you can wreck this thing because it's all freaking plastic. So they basically, the tabs inside there, probably can't see it, they are gone. So what this does, it just goes in and spins freely both ways. It does not lock and unlock. So therefore, the only thing holding it in is this O-ring. As soon as you get a little pressure built up in the system, she's out of there. So you have to replace the whole radiator. And luckily for me, on this truck, not only is it an automatic, so it has transmission lines that go into the radiator. It's also a dual radiator setup. So the front here is just jammed full of crap, hoses, lines. It really is pretty ridiculous. I didn't film any of that because I was pissed off the entire time I was doing it. We found out that the drain was screwed up Wednesday. The only radiator that I really wanted to buy was a OEM Mopar one. Seen a lot of stories of people having trouble with some of the aftermarket ones, including like the Mishimoto's and the ones you can get on XDP or even parts stores. So I figured sticking with Mopar OEM would probably be the best bet, especially since you have transmission fluid sharing the same heat exchanger as, well, your coolant. I had saw in just my short amount of research two instances where guys had purchased cheaper radiators. They ended up having coolant and transmission fluid mix. And I think one guy said it sent coolant through his transmission and basically trashed it. So long story short, we didn't get to race in Bowling Green because this thing was broken down and I couldn't get a radiator in time. I wasn't able to get an OEM radiator until Monday, the following Monday. So we went ahead and just jumped into the daily driver car, took the family down to Bowling Green since I already had the hotel booked and tickets for the race, and watched a little bit of racing. It was hotter than hell, but watched a little racing and saw some fireworks and did the Corvette Museum and all that crap. It is August 1st as I'm filming this. Shide's coming up a couple weeks. Finally get to race since I'm really bummed about missing Bowling Green. That's my favorite track, but finally get to race. I got a new fender for the race truck because this one's pretty rusty. I'm gonna try to finish these control arms. Don't know if I'll make a video on that or not. Pretty straightforward. Once you do the top ones, same thing applies to the bottom ones with exception of these bolts here that are kind of goofy, but as long as you mark them, I think I mentioned that in the video, as long as you mark them, you'll be good. So yeah, until the next one, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe and all that stuff.